Chien and Han Shun share a star-crossed fate, built entirely on chaotic bickering. Our heroine looks innocent but hides horns, while our male lead acts icy but seethes with ridiculous jealousy, keeping their daily tension snapping like a tightened bowstring. Yet absolutely hilarious. Their chaotic childhood friends romance sparks right here, overflowing with absurd disasters that will completely break your funny bone. Our tale opens with the heroine whispering her past. She sighs heavily. Since childhood, my fragile body was totally cursed. Sprinting outside, playing wildly with my neighborhood friends, or simply exploring were impossible dreams. The physician promised if I survived the brutal winter of my 8th year, a healthy miracle would finally blossom. Tragically, my life force faded. Little Chien just built a tiny snowman. Honestly, grading her clumsy artwork felt like a brutal crime, yet the beaming child felt incredibly proud of her masterpiece. Whenever this frozen sculpture melted away, surely my fleeting life would simply vanish too. The exact second those dramatic words dropped, a soccer ball smashed everything. Even the decapitated sculpture silently cursed. While the stunned girl remained buried in icy rubble, a smug brat casually yawned, "My bad, hand over my toy." "Chien, what on earth are you doing? Did you gorge yourself during lunch?" The fuming girl finally clawed through the snowbank. The literal millisecond she growled his name, Han Shun, the terrified boy immediately retreated 3 big steps. Yet the sinister girl flashed an angelic smile, sweetly coaxing, "Come over here right now!" Meanwhile, the nearby peanut gallery, munching on their snacks, gossiped, "What is taking him so long? Did his ball plunge into the pond?" Mid-sentence, Han Shun unleashed a horrified shriek, trembling the very heavens. The crowd violently shuddered. What was that? An earthquake! Whipping their heads around, they spotted Chien, the supposedly bedridden patient utterly forbidden from exercise, hoisting a monstrous boulder of solid ice. Sprinting after Han Shun screaming, "Your funeral!" The cowardly boy lost his soul while a gleeful spectator snapped a legendary blackmail photo. Chien proudly admired the shot. The pathetic villain crying in this masterpiece is Han Shun. Because our dear families are practically married, our awful fates intertwined. Strangely enough, I sincerely appreciate that total jerk. Because of his endless teasing, my miserable life became brilliantly colorful. Suddenly, the girl loudly scoffed. Plus, after he violently yanked my precious pigtails for the 1,000th agonizing time, a blazing vow formed within my soul, ensuring that upon adulthood, my physical power would rival a fierce beast just to ruthlessly destroy him. Yet, the fated reckoning miraculously arrived. The pivotal morning little Chien received her ultimate medical verdict. Her trembling father desperately begged the gloomy specialist, "Please reveal her destiny." The physician paused, whispering, "Our medical arts have reached their limit. Only the absolute willpower of this child remains." The audience watched Chien violently biting her sheets, eyes blazing, roaring, "I refuse to perish before him! I will not surrender! I must outlive him!" The baffled doctor's sweat dropped and muttered, "Honestly, this chaotic girl will definitely survive. I have never witnessed a patient harboring such a terrifyingly absolute survival instinct." Winter vanished, summer blazed, and Chien permanently shattered her fragile sickness. She proudly smiled. The highest heavens absolutely granted my furiously righteous prayers. Following her miraculous surgery, her energy surged exponentially. She victoriously returned after just 3 months. Suddenly, an arrogant male voice mockingly sneered, "A violent demon like you is someone the Grim Reaper himself would frantically reject." Realizing she was finally reunited with her greatest eternal rival, Chien joyfully screamed the irritating name of Han Shun. Without skipping a single beat, she mercilessly blasted his smug face using a freezing water gun. The fierce rivals endlessly clashed with deafening shouts. "How dare you change my ringtone to 'You are my little apple'? Got any solid proof to claim that? Do you realize today featured a massive lecture, meaning the entire department heard that embarrassing tune? Who told your stupid self to leave the volume on, and then wrongly blame others?" Meanwhile, Lin Xiao and Yuan Tian, the mortified dorm roommates of our fiery heroine, frantically whispered, "We are fleeing right now. You two dramatic fools look completely disastrous." Chien, do not return late from this messy date. A strict dormitory inspection is rapidly approaching. Completely ignoring that warning, Chien launched a devastating meteor headbutt into Han Shun, bloodying his poor nose. The chaos escalated until the campus supervisor sprinted over to forcefully intervene. You reckless kids are university adults now, not immature toddlers. Have you completely forgotten the sacred academy laws? We sincerely apologize, sir. I will strictly discipline any future fighting. Thus, one grumpy boy sporting deep scratches and a fuming girl rocking a bandaged forehead marched awkwardly through whispering classmates. Chien aggressively puffed out her cheeks, radiating immense childish sulkiness. Eventually, Han Shun finally broke the heavy silence first, muttering, "Hey, grumpy Chien, do you want to raid the local convenience store?" Warning! This exact snapshot contains absolutely zero romance. After a stubborn pause, she grumpily hissed one word: March. The broke Chien shamelessly gathered a massive snack mountain while ranting, "Unbelievably unfair. I am clearly the innocent victim. Why did that supervisor mercilessly scold me way more?" Han Shun surrendered his wallet, scoffing, "Are you totally delusional? I doubt my cash can cover this absurd appetite." Hearing that sass, Chien aggressively pouted, demanding, "Did you dare scold me using over 7 words?" The exhausted boy stood speechless. "You actually count syllables?" Pushing her ridiculous luck, she boldly declared, "Then today absolutely demands treating my royal self perfectly. Clerk, fetch this stunning beauty an extra bottle of icy yogurt." Han Shun swiftly snatched the prize, firmly declaring, "Absolutely denied, Chien." Glaring up at his height, she snapped, "What exactly are you doing?" He casually handed over a warm cup, whispering, "With your sensitive stomach, you can only drink this." Ultimately, Chien surrendered. Taking a sip, a satisfied smile escaped her lips. Han Shun turned away, whispering, "I am going to grab some food too, so I am heading out first." She immediately demanded, "Wait, where are you going? Is not your dorm the other way?" Flashing his incredibly punchable smirk, Han Shun replied, "Oh, it is nothing. The deed is probably done anyway. But should you not hurry back early too? I wonder if the dorm supervisor has started their inspection yet." Chien felt her soul drop. She tossed her teacup, frantically yanking out her phone, just as she feared. In their group chat, "Can we sleep well at this age?" she aggressively tagged her roommates. "Is the supervisor coming to inspect?" Both replied with tragic sincerity. "Oh, so now you remember us, Chien. We are sorry, but we could not stop them. Your hidden closet washing machine was discovered. Without you here, we could not defend the stash. And here is your penalty slip." Trembling with volcanic rage, Chien screamed, "No wonder he acted so sweet today, dragging me to the convenience store. It was just to stall for time. You absolute villain, Han Shun! May the heavens smite you with lightning!" As her curse echoed, under a clear blue sky, a blinding bolt suddenly struck down from nowhere, torching a nearby tree, completely black. The surrounding students erupted into pure panic. What just happened? Did someone get struck? Call an ambulance, right now! Meanwhile, Chien froze completely, breaking out in a terrifying cold sweat. Because of her lethal mouth, the result was her sitting anxiously in the hospital. Yes, Auntie. Please do not worry too much. I will take good care of him. If anything changes, I will report back. Hanging up now." Lowering the device, Chien's hands shook uncontrollably. Suddenly, a nurse burst into the hallway, shouting, "The patient in room 8 is awake." She sprinted inside, her voice trembling as she softly called, "Han Shun." Seeing her nemesis looking healthy and handsome, her emotions completely overflowed. Wait, actually, it was pure comedic gold! She burst into hysterical laughter. Who gets struck by lightning on a sunny day? Who told you to do wicked things? That is exactly why the heavens decided to punish you. Realizing she was laughing way too hard, she dragged a chair to his bedside. "All right, my bad. But what did the doctor actually say?" Han Shun looked unusually solemn. He said it was an absolute miracle there were no external burns. But when the lightning hit me, I collapsed and smashed my head against the pavement. Slightly dizzy, but surviving. Chien smirked and said, truly cockroach-like vitality. But his gaze dropped to her wildly trembling fingers. He asked softly, why are your hands shaking so badly? Time seemed to freeze as they stared until Chien dazedly broke the silence. Are they? I will ask the doctor later. But what are you doing? Why are you staring at me? With absolute deadpan seriousness, Han Shun replied, Chien, you look incredibly young right now. You look like you are 20. 18-year-old Chien felt her soul shatter. Infuriated, she instantly attacked the patient. Keep your terrible romantic lines to yourself, Han Shun. If you can spout this nonsense, you are clearly perfectly healthy. I am getting your discharge papers. We have morning classes tomorrow. The atmosphere suddenly plunged into a confusing standoff. Classes? Yes. Do not tell me you are planning to ditch school. As she turned to march out, he commanded, wait. We need to get something perfectly straight. Whatever shocking words left his mouth next made Chien bolt out of that room faster than a chased dog. She sprinted frantically down the hallway toward the doctor's office, completely ruining the poor doctor's lunch break. Desperate to escape reality, she grabbed his collar and shook him violently, screaming, Doc, you need to scan his brain again. His sanity is completely shattered. The dizzy physician desperately tried to free himself. Miss, please breathe and calm down. Tell me what happened first. Panting heavily, Chien recounted the traumatic ordeal with her life. He got electrocuted by heaven, woke up babbling pure madness, and then confidently declared some horrifying nonsense. The doctor maintained his stoic professionalism. Stroking his chin, he offered his clinical diagnosis. Let us review the facts. Following the massive electrical surge, the patient is experiencing severe memory displacement. It is why he claims to be a mystical warrior of light, and allegedly, a time traveler. Displaced from exactly 10 years in the future, Chien vigorously flashed a thumbs up, shouting, You nailed it, Doc! Right on cue, Han Shun appeared, grasping her hand with a dazzlingly handsome smile. And the most crucial detail is, we are getting married. Chien felt her soul evaporate, silently screaming at this idiot. Why announce a wedding to your sworn nemesis in front of strangers? The doctor pushed up his glasses, completely unfazed. The MRI scans show 0 anomalies. But Han Shun stubbornly crossed his arms. Then the truth is undeniable. I truly am the chosen one, am I not? The doctor's eyes gleamed with sudden intensity. If you truly leaped through time to reach this era, I have some incredibly vital questions to ask you. Which business venture will explode in the next decade? The nurse facepalmed in absolute despair. Doctor, your medical ethics are flying out the window! And so, the chaotic interrogation began. Winning lottery numbers? Who memorizes those? What about the housing market? It crashes. The stock market did not care. Just as the eager doctor leaned in to ask, what about the World Cup? The nurse brutally smacked him. So your broken brain only conjured up our fake wedding, completely erasing all actual reality? Our heroine muttered softly. Stop squeezing your empty head for answers. Just try picturing your favorite hobbies instead. The goofy boy nodded blankly. Squatting like an absolute potato, he finally declared. We were playing Elder Scrolls Chapter 7. Hearing this garbage, our Tsundere crossed her arms. Okay, I officially declare this idiot is merely spouting pure, unadulterated gibberish. The boy gasped, utterly betrayed. Excuse me? Instantly, a hilarious, chaotic screaming match erupted everywhere. You pulled this exact scam when your premium gaming subscription died. Pathetic liar. Even 10 decades from today, I would rather bark like a stray puppy than trust you. But our fluffy retriever just turned 11. Besides, who bawled their eyes out during that sad movie? Your tough attitude totally contradicts your soft-hearted personality. Who stays awake mourning romantic soap opera couples until 3 a.m.? Honestly, I thought a wailing banshee invaded my bedroom. Your brain severely lacks creative vision. Anyway, why hide that the hero perished tragically? The deafening bickering escalated relentlessly until a poor medical worker snapped completely. "Cease this ridiculous domestic squabble immediately! We operate a healing facility!" Slamming their empty skulls together, she hissed dangerously. "You are ridiculously loud!" The frightened pair quickly clutched their bruised foreheads, violently trembling. Sighing heavily, she explained, "Temporary cognitive blockages frequently occur whenever fragile human brains endure such an overwhelming physical shock. Mental clarity naturally returns within 72 hours post-release. Simply wander through nostalgic childhood locations together every day. Honestly speaking," she winked playfully, "even though his poor, chaotic brain remains totally scrambled right now, his subconscious devotion proves he genuinely adores you." This highly embarrassing diagnosis triggered our current hilarious predicament, featuring a puppy dog amnesiac faithfully dragging his bicycle behind her. Her patience instantly shattered. "Cease stalking my every footstep. Your actual apartment lies miles away backwards." Gripping her delicate fingers, he shamelessly pouted. "But dearest wifey, where else should your devoted husband wander?" Our flustered heroine scowled fiercely, projecting an absolute icy glare. "Apologies, but let us pretend that cringy dialogue vanished." The clumsy giant instantly radiated the pathetic aura of a freshly kicked puppy. Sniffling pathetically, he whined aloud, "Pretty, please forgive my foolish mistakes. Do not hold on to your fiery anger." Witnessing this cuteness completely melted our feisty heroine's rage, forcing a defeated sigh. "Fine, whatever." Instantly, the massive dork beamed incredibly brightly again. Without hesitation, she ruthlessly hoisted his collar, dragging him swiftly away. Arriving at a mysterious hidden apartment, she flicked the dusty switches, announcing very dramatically, "Behold my absentee father's sanctuary. Since campus dormitories perfectly suit my lifestyle, this mansion remains completely abandoned. Consider this dusty fortress your new temporary isolation zone." Blinking owlishly, he tilted his head. "Are we skipping university lectures?" Suddenly, terrifying mental images of him screaming about their fake matrimony hijacked her brain. Clicking her tongue in extreme annoyance, she snapped aggressively, "We still desperately require a miracle cure for your stupidity!" Releasing romantic delusions publicly guarantees massive school-wide scandals, the bewildered boy mumbled nervously. "Sounds super dangerous?" Glaring fiercely, she commanded ruthlessly, "Your scrambled brain absolutely must reboot flawlessly before tomorrow morning. Understood?" Instinctively bowing to his fierce goddess, he squeaked obediently, "Challenge accepted!" Shifting into survival mode, she pointed assertively, "Emergency rations await inside that metallic cooling chamber. Forage independently. Before attempting basic hygiene, definitely ignite the primary electrical breaker. A grown man handles simple survival mechanics properly, correctly?" Panicking slightly, the giant puppy whimpered, "Are you truly abandoning me?" Knitted brows formed as she growled, "My sleeping arrangements remain strictly confidential." Activating his supreme defensive technique, he lunged forward, barricading the exit with broad shoulders, pleading desperately, "Please stay forever, darling wifey. Absolutely unacceptable. Total rejection. Enduring this terrifying loneliness would completely break my spirit." Blasted point-blank by his overwhelming shoujo protagonist charm, our flustered heroine clutched her racing heart. "Do you desire my sudden death?" He was currently executing a flawless, heart-stopping wall pin maneuver, begging endlessly. Transforming her overwhelming shyness into explosive fury, she Sparta-kicked his massive frame across the room. Smoothing her skirt, she huffed arrogantly, "Nobody officially announced my departure yet, you overreacting fool. Exploring that freezing appliance for sugary beverages was my only immediate objective." Rubbing his bruised stomach, the giant baby pouted dramatically. That martial arts strike felt extremely unnecessary. A tiny ping of remorse struck her conscience. "Your sudden romantic ambush triggered my reflexes." Seeking peace, she yeeted an icy soda cylinder toward his face. Settling onto plush cushions, our heroine secretly analyzed her childhood companion, realizing his entire psychological wavelength felt drastically different than his usual chaotic vibe. Is this brain damage completely genuine? Or an imposter scenario? Perhaps nefarious medical personnel secretly replaced my best friend, or evil researchers successfully manufactured his genetic replica? Absolutely ridiculous logic, considering our lifelong interconnected destiny, correct? Unless my own precious childhood flashbacks are artificially implanted illusions? Suddenly, the clumsy fool violently cracked open his carbonated beverage, instantly blasting sticky brown liquid across her beautiful face, maintaining an infuriatingly brainless expression. That legendary clumsiness immediately disintegrated her paranoid sci-fi conspiracy theories. Seething internally, she deduced, 0 imposters possess such specialized stupidity. While scrubbing away the mess, her idiotic prisoner began loudly whining about starvation. "Summon online delivery immediately," she hissed dangerously. However, the stubborn mule adamantly refused, demanding lovingly prepared domestic meals. "Absolutely impossible. Suffer alone," he protested. "But I just escaped medical confinement." A sinister shadow instantly eclipsed our heroine's scary visage. "Actually desiring my personal culinary arts? Are you actively seeking a painful departure from this mortal realm?" Horrifying flashbacks triggered immediately. Consuming charred chunks of pitch-black abyss, legendary demonic poison that fundamentally violates all known gastronomy. She immediately panicked, begging, "Just pretend I never spoke." Consequently, a few hours later, a wonderfully cheap and nourishing stew materialized on the stovetop. Offering a steaming spoonful, he murmured, "Taste this. Any good?" Miss Chien nodded, casually critiquing, "Just a bit flavorless." Thus, that poor stew tragically became their ultimate test subject. Meanwhile, as Han Shun expertly diced cucumbers, Chien crunched a biscuit, teasing, "Your chef skills really leveled up," he scoffed softly. "Well, I cannot depend on you." Taking offense, she quietly reflected, then shyly mumbled after a beat, "Hey Han Shun, inside that brain of yours, how does our future married life look?" Han Shun replied totally bluntly, "We simply game and binge movies post-dinner." This rendered Miss Chien entirely dumbfounded. "That literally changes nothing!" He blinked confusedly. "Is that truly too mundane? Possessing a true romantic soul?" she enthusiastically protested. "Is there absolutely nothing swoon-worthy, like waltzing together beneath a sparkling night sky, or dramatically posing upon a grand cruise ship, embracing the ocean winds? I am totally joking. Doing that with you sounds purely dreadful anyway." Han Shun paused his chopping, declaring with intense resolve, "Oh, really? Then I must strive much harder." His sudden, dazzling smirk genuinely caused her heart to violently skip a beat. She internally panicked. "Oh man, I feel incredibly guilty about this now. This sweet atmosphere feels bizarrely alien." Previously, his undeniable reaction would have perfectly resembled this. Instantly, an icy shiver ran down her spine. She envisioned an evil Han Shun ruthlessly sneering, "You absolutely belong at a toddler playground." Catching her blank stare, he invaded her space, whispering, "Where are your thoughts wandering?" Utterly flustered and shocked, she loudly shrieked, "What on earth are you attempting?" Consequently, their foreheads painfully collided, leaving them both whining, "Arg! Agonizing!" Meanwhile, the flustered heroine frantically concealed her violently crimson cheeks, internally panicking, "Crap! My intuition is sensing profound danger now. I absolutely must restore his arrogant factory settings, or else my poor heart will explode." Later, drifting through a hazy slumber, a distant voice unexpectedly echoed, "Hey, sleepyhead, arise quickly, the fateful hour approaches." Utterly disoriented, she rubbed her eyes, mumbling, "Tian, why crash my room? What nonsense are you spouting?" Upon forcing her heavy eyelids open, their excited chorus dropped, "Chien, today marks your glorious matrimony to Han Shun." Gazing ahead, she shockingly spotted him patiently waiting at the altar. As he offered his palm, our heroine remained completely paralyzed by sheer disbelief. Her mind short-circuited. Am I actually becoming his wife? Utterly absurd. Despite sticking closely together through 18 chaotic years, this romantic climax never crossed my wildest imagination. Does my heart truly beat for him? More importantly, does his soul crave mine? Suddenly, deafening cheers erupted like thunder as the sacred ring exchange officially commenced. A lingering doubt anchored her soul. Is this destiny truly my ultimate desire? Catching her momentary panic, the handsome groom forcefully yanked her close, whispering, "Dummy, completely surrender your faith to me." Overwhelmed by his intoxicating tenderness, she surrendered, replying, "My heart believes you." Yet, mere heartbeats later, her gaze dropped, revealing a monstrous, hairy arachnid upon her delicate skin. "That was no groom!" Her expression darkened with demonic fury as she shrieked, "Trust my ass!" Suddenly, an annoying rooster began crowing. "Cock-a-doodle freaking do!" Our protagonist violently bolted upright like a reanimated zombie, cursing, "Absolute garbage. My brain is throbbing mercilessly. That infuriating jerk infected my subconscious with such a completely psychotic nightmare." Snatching her fluffy quilt up, she groaned sluggishly. "Whatever, the sun barely rose. My exhausted soul requires further hibernation." Yet tragically, the absolute microsecond her head hit the pillow, her gaze collided with his looming figure. Shuddering violently, she unleashed a banshee wail that shattered nearby windows. "When exactly did you infiltrate my room?" Consequently, our unfortunate male lead marched toward university sporting a massive head knot, glaring holes into his childhood friend marching ahead. Spotting her completely guilty posture, he pouted dramatically, whining, "Objectively speaking, you actually trespassed directly into my personal territory. Yet I somehow suffered this brutal physical assault. Where is the basic justice? Furthermore, have we not shared mattresses since our diaper days?" Pressing her palms together desperately, she pleaded, "My deepest apologies. I merely suffered dreadful insomnia after experiencing a spectacularly horrific hallucination." 0 beats passed before his immediate, unfiltered counterattack fully launched. He bypassed all pleasantries, sharply interrogating, "Fascinating. What exact nocturnal horror occurred?" Flashes of that sickeningly romantic altar ceremony surfaced, making her stutter, "Whatever, just ignore my words completely." It featured pure brain-rotting garbage. Delete it from memory. More importantly, did you process my strict morning warnings? His handsome brows furrowed with heavy skepticism, probing, "Is this strategy genuinely foolproof?" My gut senses massive incoming chaos. She instantly barked back, "It remains flawlessly perfect. Should any scandalous gossip connecting us surface, consider your funeral planned." Subsequently, our bickering duo resumed their chaotic campus stroll. Yet internally, those infuriating matrimonial flashes continuously tormented her mind. Seeking an immediate mental escape, she whipped out her smartphone, frantically scanning their morning academic schedule. Suddenly, her momentum crashed as he worriedly noticed, "Why freeze up?" Spilling invisible anime tears, she tragically howled, "My reputation is utterly annihilated. I completely neglected messaging my dorm squad about my nocturnal absence." Consequently, our embarrassed female lead commenced a stealthy infiltration mission back home. Confronting utter darkness, her nightmare-induced arachnophobia spiked her terrifying paranoia to maximum overdrive. Violently flashing her mobile torch everywhere, she whispered confusedly, "Wait, did you two traitors actually depart for lectures already?" The moment her sentence ended, a chilling whisper brushed her ear. "Why the massive fuss? Keep your voice down." Han Shun smoothly dodged his chaotic classmates with effortless swagger. "Any plans for today? Just hitting the basketball court? All right then. We will check the club first. Catch you later." He stared at his screen, completely puzzled. "Everything looks totally normal here." I have zero clue why she snapped. Suddenly, a random girl approached. "Excuse me, sorry to intrude, but could I ask a favor?" Meanwhile, back at the dark dorm, Chien was completely shaking in pure terror. Yet she was merely acting dramatic to entertain her sunbae. Dropping the act, she casually replied, "What is it?" "Oh, it is just you, you." The pink-haired goddess clicked her tongue in amusement. "Quite sharp, but why sit in the pitch dark?" As Chien blamed the spooky mood, her sunbae frowned deeply. "You are utterly, completely beyond saving," Lin Shiyu proudly commanded their dorm room. The second-year law genius possessed absolutely flawless academic grades and a stunningly gorgeous, intimidating goddess aura. She easily scored a flawless 100 points. Yet, Chien secretly grumbled internally. She possesses one incredibly massive, completely fatal physical flaw. She is extremely tiny, but her gigantic pride touches heaven. Feeling profoundly offended, she immediately delivered a merciless, devastating physical smack. With a terrifying glare, she hissed, "You have become totally arrogant. I absolutely never raised a rebellious junior." Rubbing her terribly throbbing head, Chien felt deeply grateful she sent a brief alibi yesterday. Bypassing her sunbae's strict radar would be an absolute breeze. She coughed awkwardly, fabricating an epic lie. "Yesterday! Our heroic faction gloriously annihilated the dark forces completely thanks to my incredibly superior intellect." That defeated noob, Han Shun, deeply repented his giant sins, begging for forgiveness by purchasing expensive movie tickets. Unfortunately, afterwards, it became incredibly, dangerously late at that midnight hour. Returning alone to our isolated dorms at such an ungodly midnight hour felt absolutely terrifying. Lin Shiyu gracefully sipped her boba tea, softly interrogating. "And what happened next?" Chien awkwardly scratched her messy hair, blurting, "We basically slept outside together." Hearing this outrageous bombshell, Shiyu violently choked. Instantly transforming into a terrifying demon, she roared, "You shameless brat, where are your boundaries?" Unleashing her legendary divine palm, she furiously smacked the clueless girl. "Regardless of your deep platonic bond, are you completely blind to the danger of an unmarried guy and girl spending the night alone?" Chien innocently puffed her cheeks, grumbling, "What is the big deal? We're strictly just bros." Choking on volcanic rage, Shiyu nearly died. Gasping wildly, she screamed, "That is exactly the massive fatal problem! Have you actually considered how awkward your precious brotherhood becomes once that blockhead finally scores a romantic girlfriend?" Chien dismissively waved her hand. "Absolutely impossible. What blind heiress could possibly fall for such an insensitive barbarian?" Shiyu bitterly clicked her tongue. "That detail is irrelevant, but even baseless rumors. That charming idiot achieved legendary popularity during freshman military camp? Are you totally oblivious? Flashback time activated." Rewinding to the brutal military training lunch break, Han Shun constantly commandeered the iron stove, effortlessly crafting divine culinary masterpieces rivaling a 5-star gourmet restaurant. Swarming fangirls absolutely worshipped his handsome aura, endlessly showering him with sweet compliments. "Is cooking your passion?" Yet, this enigmatic god always replied with the exact same cool, rehearsed catchphrase, "Call me totally insane." However, a precious family member suffers from chronic stomach aches. Greasy restaurant garbage destroys her fragile system, so I personally chef everything. Lin Shiyu absolutely flaunted her terrifying reputation as the law department apex predator scholar. Every syllable inflicted maximum emotional critical damage. She coolly noted how she generally swoons over mega-attractive guitar-strumming master chefs, yet she harshly judges cowardly girls who attack then pathetically flee. So, any regrets sinking in? Chien sulkily hugged her trembling knees. Precisely. That enigmatic fool never once mentioned any secret romances. Senior Shiyu pierced her soul, whispering, "Seriously, imagine your exact dynamic a whole decade ahead, or even 20 future years ahead. What official romantic privilege allows you to proudly stride by his majestic side? Your ultimate destiny remains entirely your absolute choice. Zero pressure. Ultimately, consider this, my gracious unofficial senior warning to you. This comfortable balance between you two can never exist eternally against fatal random events. You must absolutely fortify your fragile heart before disaster strikes." Following that brutal psychological wake-up lecture, Chien ghosted Han Shun, ghosting him worse than demonic evil spirits. Yet, the clueless fool innocently texted her, "Heading home after your lectures?" Instantly panicking, she dramatically dived out the nearest open window, clutching her dizzy head, shrieking, "Giant apologies, am super swamped." When he romantically invited her over that exact night, her cold reply dropped. "No way. I am insanely overwhelmed lately. Haha." Consequently, everyone nearby brutally suffered the suppressed volcanic depression of our god. Suddenly, a fearless, suicidal hero bravely approached him, casually asking, "What's wrong?" Why is your aura radiating despair like a shattered soul? Brutally dumped by a princess? The teasing intruders were Chi Xuan, a cocky second-year sunbae, alongside Guo Xuan, a freshman rookie. These guys were his loyal roommates. Han Shun miserably buried his handsome face, painfully whispering, "I finally understand your agonizing romantic pain." Sunbae Hao laughed. "You make it sound like I am always rejected." Han Shan suddenly bolted upright, extended his hand, and started counting. "Didn't that stunning liberal arts girl beg me to reject you, senior? She explicitly demanded you stop bothering her forever, right? Not to mention the law department's teaching assistant and the beautiful cafeteria lady. Honestly, if I just stroll down to grab a simple can of cola right now, I would surely bump into at least 8 different girls who mercilessly dumped you." Chi Xuan took massive critical damage to his ego, practically itching to throw hands. "You little punk, want to duel me one-on-one?" Han Shan casually popped open his soda, replying, "I am genuinely awestruck by your thick skin, senior. Truthfully, if she rejected me, I would surrender." The very second he finished speaking, his 2 roommates asked in perfect unison, "Are you talking about your precious sweetheart, the violent one who constantly beats you up?" Han Shan flinched in sheer shock, screaming, "How did you know?" Shi Hao Xuan and Gu Shan Xuan exchanged pitiful, exhausted glances, muttering sadly, "You are completely oblivious, aren't you?" The 2 traumatized roommates immediately launched a ruthless interrogation, exposing his 3 catchphrases. Phrases Han Shan literally cannot survive without, like, "My female friend has this," or "If my girl were here." Even more terrifying is your sleep talking. Dead in the night, you start randomly mumbling utter nonsense like, "Oh, Chien, you cannot eat that ice cream!" Both boys sighed helplessly, continuing. Before the instructor discovered the hazard, "You actually called her!" Recalling that chaotic scene, we were honestly left completely speechless. "I specifically told you to measure exactly 1 cup of white rice, add 3 cups of water, and cook for 20 minutes. Wait, what? It exploded? Who on earth told you to leave the glass measuring cup inside?" Even the strict instructor screamed, "Is this crazy kid trying to get arrested? Forget him, he looks pathetic." Qi Hao Xuan and Gu Shan Xuan nodded dramatically. "Anyway, thanks to your non-stop rambling, without even meeting her, we know her exact personality, height, and weight perfectly. She is 1 meter 68, weighs 50 kilograms, has a warm and cheerful vibe, but is ridiculously clumsy and unable to care for herself." Han Shan blinked in disbelief. "Did I?" Gu Shan Xuan, biting his chopsticks, replied, "You definitely did. But since you 2 are basically family, you must walk this romantic path together. Besides, haven't you been obsessing over what to say? When you finally reunite?" Han Shan's eyes sparkled, blurting out, "Since the father's surname is Han, what should we name our future baby?" Gu Shan Xuan violently spit out his mouthful, screaming, "That is borderline harassment, you creep! And you, stop taking notes!" Chi Hao Xuan jumped in panic. Thus, their dorm round table meeting turned intensely serious. "What is going through your head? You are not dating!" "Why on earth not?" "Because confessing so aggressively will terrify any normal girl." Han Shan broke into an icy sweat, suddenly remembering his earth-shattering pickup lines, like, "I am your future husband and we are getting married." He slammed his chopsticks down, urgently declaring, "I completely understand now. I am finding her immediately." Shi Hao Xuan pulled out a tiny handkerchief, dabbing fake tears. "Go quickly, our boy finally understands." However, Gu Shan Xuan deeply questioned reality, dramatically screaming, "What could this idiot understand? We need to go tail him!" Meanwhile, Han Shan plunged into the massive student crowd, utterly bewildered, frantically scanning every single corner. Eventually, he desperately started asking around. "Excuse me, is Su Chien still inside the classroom?" "Honestly, no idea. Maybe she headed back to the dorms." Suddenly, Chien called. Han Shan frantically answered, panting heavily. "Annyeonghaseyo! Where are you?" A sweet female voice echoed back. "Annyeong! Where are you at right now?" Suddenly, a familiar flash of sun-kissed orange hair peeked through. Across the bustling crowd, their eyes unexpectedly locked. He desperately wanted to step forward and look incredibly manly, but Chien happily snatched his hand, beaming brightly. "I have amazing news to tell you! The doctor said they found a miracle method to turn you completely normal again. But to understand this, we must rewind a few hours." Lin Shiyu could not brush her teeth in peace, with Chien lying dramatically across the floor. Sighing, Shiyu simply lifted her short legs, callously stepping over her. Chien immediately wailed, "Are you seriously not going to ask what happened?" Shiyu painted on an intensely annoyed expression, yet played along, asking, "Fine, what tragic event happened?" Chien burst into theatrical tears, whining, "Isn't it because of your terrible romantic advice? It is all your fault!" Pausing her rant, Chien suddenly envisioned Han Shun's incredibly handsome posture sunbathing, reading a book with that heart-fluttering, gentle smile. Unable to withstand this critical romantic damage, she shrieked, "My heart feels ready to explode!" Shiyu indifferently asked, "And then what?" Chien pouted remorsefully, whimpering. "After that embarrassing moment, I violently slapped his face and sprinted away. What else did you expect from a coward?" Lin Shiyu nodded sagely, deadpanning. Exactly as expected, Chien threw an epic tantrum, screaming, "Take responsibility for me!" Shiyu shrugged nonchalantly, sighing. "Fine. It is my absolute fault. Happy?" Inside her rational mind, she was disgusted. If they were normal, these absolute idiots would be dating already. Thus, the two sisters kicked off new romantic counseling. "Well, you must explain the actual situation between you two, so I can give proper advice." "How am I supposed to explain? Just spit it out!" "Oh, my sweet ancestors!" Her shocked sister swallowed a giant mouthful of toothpaste. "A memory disorder?" Chien stammered. "Exactly, like a different man. Why is he suddenly acting so incredibly sweet? I am totally panicking and losing my mind here. Do you have any genius plan to fix his broken brain?" Shiyu nodded with absolute seriousness, whispering, "I totally read a viral internet post about this. Look! She literally checked social media for a medical miracle. Holy cow!" Unbelievably, both clueless besties trusted this absolute nonsense completely. The adorable dummies clustered together, plotting his grand return to sanity. Wait, I must survive another literal thunderbolt strike? Netizens claim this crazy method works absolute wonders. Meaning, to break this romantic curse, I must literally catch raw, heavenly voltage. But I am a true hero of light! Okay, shiny hero, let us try. Han Shun pondered deeply, saying, "Do I truly need a deadly thunderbolt to the face?" Suddenly, Chien dramatically appeared, wielding a buzzing stun gun. Wiggling her eyebrows playfully, she asked, "Are we absolutely sure about this?" Han Shun smiled warmly. "Do not worry yourself. A tiny zap will be totally fine." "I was just joking, but my mind is made up. Since you truly believe a magical thunderbolt made me fall madly for you, dropping that bombshell," he radiated overwhelming, absolute boyfriend energy, declaring, "Then I will completely prove my heart. Win or lose, I will happily endure this shock for you. I am totally prepared to risk everything." Chien froze like a statue, desperately wishing to evaporate into thin air.